All right, 2023 is coming up. You want to get better at aiming. So do I. Here's some tips on how to get better at aiming in Valorant. I have 5 tips that include some settings you can change, as well as just some mental things you can remember when you're in game to help you aim better and hopefully help you win your 1v1s more. And the first one is going to be a settings change, and I want you guys to attempt to use a dot crosshair if you guys are not already. I've said this in a video before, but there is this whole Twitter thread that I found one day from a guy named Aimer7, who's an absolutely insane aimer in a lot of games, but he's also an aim coach and just an FPS coach in general. And this whole thread just describes the benefits of using a smaller dot crosshair versus a larger crosshair. I'll leave that link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. But essentially, just the gist of using a dot crosshair is the most precise thing you can use in an FPS. Using the smallest dot possible that you can see will allow you to be the most precise. And in a game like Valorant, you're definitely going to want to be precise because all it takes is just one click on someone's head if you're using a Vandal. And if you can benefit from lining up that shot better by using a smaller crosshair, you're going to find yourself winning a lot more 1v1s. So try out a dot crosshair, see if it works for you. I know I've been using it. It might be a little bit weird at first when you're changing into a new crosshair, but changing into a new crosshair will, one, reset your mental and kind of get you that confidence back of being excited to use something new to hopefully improve your aim. I have another video that I made about the dot crosshair that I use, which I'll link below. Now moving into the second tip, this is not a settings thing. This is just something that you can do with your brain and your body when you're actually playing. And this might seem like kind of an obvious thing, but I find myself not doing this quite a lot of the time. And it's just that you should be looking at the target that you're shooting at and not at your crosshair. Again, that might seem kind of obvious and you guys might be doing that already, but I find a lot of the times people aren't focused enough on what they're actually aiming at, and they're just kind of making sure that they're lining up their crosshair with whatever they're shooting at. And that is good, especially if you're in like longer range fights. You want to make sure that your crosshair is obviously on the smallest part of someone's head as possible since they're farther away from you. But just keeping your eyes locked on what you're shooting at is just going to naturally have your hand follow what your eyes are looking at. And if you can just pick some small part of someone's head that you're aiming at, say it's like a Killjoy's hat or like Reyna's purple hair or Brimstone's hat or something like that, or just someone's chin or someone's nose, you can focus your eyes and lock on that. Your hand will follow and your crosshair will follow as well. And especially if you're using that dot crosshair, it'll be easier for you to just continuously focus on what you're aiming at instead of this massive crosshair that's in your way, and you'll be able to be a lot more precise. So just remember, keep your eyes focused on what you're actually aiming at and not your crosshair, and your hand and your crosshair will follow. Now, my third tip is just coming back to the crosshair settings in general. And you guys may not have tried this or heard this in a lot of aim guide tutorials or anything like that, but try taking your crosshair's opacity down a little bit. And this is kind of stemming off of my last tip, just to help you focus on what you're aiming at. If you take your crosshair opacity down, you can see what you're aiming at through your crosshair. So in case you have that habit of just kind of switching between focusing on your crosshair and what you're aiming behind it, it'll allow you to just line it up a little bit better since you can see actually through the crosshair what you're aiming at. The crosshair that I use, and the one that's linked in the description, I have my opacity brought down to about 50%. So it just allows me to see it slightly through the crosshair to just make sure that I am lined up exactly on what I want to be aiming at. So that might be something you guys have not tried out yet, to just switch up your crosshair settings and to just help you focus on what you're aiming at a little bit better. Try it out if you haven't already, and let me know how that one goes for you. My fourth tip is another mentality one that you can bring into your games. And if you're not doing this already, just always expect someone around every corner that you're clearing or swinging around in Valorant, no matter the part of the map, no matter where you think someone could be. Unless you are 1000% sure and your team has seen all the enemies and you know exactly where they are in every part of the map, just continuously expect someone around every corner. Just because of Valorant timing and where you may have seen someone a couple seconds ago, they could be similar, completely different, especially with all the abilities that are in this game and just how fast you can move and get to certain parts of the map if you know your way around it. But a good mental habit that you can get into is just always assuming there's going to be someone around every corner. This is going to prepare your mind when you're actually clearing these angles and swinging around these corners. And this will actually improve your reaction time because your mind is actually already ready for someone to be there. So all you need to do is just make the physical action of clicking when you see someone around that corner. So no matter if you're just rotating from one side to the other, just assume someone is going to be around every corner. Something I like to do is just envision the colored outline that I use. So I always use a yellow outline. So I'm always just visualizing a yellow outline just appearing from behind a corner when I'm swinging it or clearing it slowly. Again, it's just preparing your mind for someone to be there so that all you need to do is just click when you actually do see someone there. This goes hand in hand as well if you're holding corners with ops or something like that. You can continuously just assume someone's about to swing you at any time. Just visualize someone just swinging the corner every like 3 seconds or something like that. And then when someone actually does decide to swing that angle, your mind is going to be ready. All you need to do is just click. And the fifth and final tip I have for you guys in this aim guide is just to make sure that you're aiming not only with your mouse, but also with your movement. In this game, as you guys know, counter strafing is super important to just get the most accurate shot possible. You should be shooting like 3 to 5 round bursts with the Vandal or Phantom if you guys are going to be in an aim duel. You don't want to have to swing your mouse around all the time when you're in the middle of those bursts. When you're shooting those bursts, you want to be counter strafing in between. And you want to get used to making sure that you're not really moving your mouse, but you're mainly just doing all your movement with your character. Your crosshair should already be at head level. When you find yourself in aim duels, it's actually just as much of a movement duel as it is an aim duel, because you're going to be counter strafing, countering to the person that you're shooting's counter strafing. It's really confusing to think about. So I just go into a deathmatch, keep your crosshair as steady as possible with your mouse, make sure it's at head level, and then get used to just kind of bringing it side to side if you need to, according to the opponent that you're 1v1ing. This also helps when you're swinging angles. You should just already have your crosshair always lined up exactly where someone's head is going to be. This obviously takes time and practice and map knowledge, because you need to know where exactly to place your crosshair. But the more you play, the more you'll get used to that and be able to visualize that. And from there, all you'll need to do is just hold A or D if you're swinging, and then just counter strafe and then click accordingly. Just remember that aiming is just as much of a movement duel as it is an aim duel if you're actually in that 1v1 face-to-face with someone. So I know we still have like a month and a half or so of 2022 left, but I hope you guys can just take these tips going into 2023 as you're training to become a better Valorant player. Hopefully this brought some tips or some thoughts that you guys may not have had yet if you're trying to aim train and get a little bit better at winning your 1v1s in Valorant. I know a lot of these things have personally helped me, which is why I put them in this video for you, because I do want to help you guys out and help you all become better aimers, because I am also trying to do the same. You can never practice your aim enough, and I hope these tips help you guys out on that aim training journey that we're all on. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below, or if you have any other tips that you want to share with the community. Place them down in there. I'll try to reply to all of those comments down there for you guys. But that's going to do it for me. I will see you guys in the next video. Good luck on your aim training journeys. And on that note, ta-ta for now.